In this video, traders, we are going to look at why having no opinion on the market is usually the right call. Stay tuned. Hey guys, warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining me. All right, so very often we fall into this trap. And listen, guys, you know that my videos are very often based on experience myself. The stuff that I've gone through or going through, I'll share with you, and I like to share ideas or thoughts of how I've overcome it, or different ways other people have overcome it, so that if you're going through the same kind of thing in trading, whatever that is, whether you're looking for a setup, whether you're looking for more discipline and stuff, then you can take bits of it and hopefully it helps you move forward. That's really what it's all about. So this is really coming from perspective that I have this issue as well. Is that very often we look at a chart and we have an opinion immediately. And I've kind of got rid of this now, fortunately, but like anything, it's always going to creep back and you've got to be careful of it. And especially in the current volatility, I find it creeping back a little bit, which is why I want to talk about it now. What I'm saying now is that when you look at a chart, most charts you should look at and just shrug your shoulders and go, I don't know what's going to happen. I just do not know. And that's okay. You know, we need to be comfortable with that being the default scenario. Yeah, because at the end of the day, there's three things we can do when we look at a chart, right? We can go, right, that's a long at some point, that's a short at some point, or I do not know, and I'm going to look at it again at a later date. And that's it. You know, okay, there might be some parameters there, like it's a long, but at this level, or a short at this level. But you've either got a thesis or you haven't. And this, I do not know, should be the default setting. Now, you've got to be careful, because very often we feel like we should have an opinion. We're traders, right? We should have an opinion. Is oil going to go up? Is oil going to go down? You know, you feel like you should be able to have an opinion and back it up with the reason why. And that really doesn't serve us, guys, because what we end up doing then is we end up taking, if you haven't guessed already, substandard trades. We end up convincing ourselves that that's the right thing to do. Now, what we should really be doing is having a strict set of criteria that we like to see in the chart, or if we're using a mixture of charts and fundamentals, it doesn't really matter, but we like to, whatever the decision-making process is, we should have that, and it's either it ticks the box or it doesn't, or if we want to go further in this, have another subsection, it's about to tick that box, but not quite yet, but it's on the watch list. And the danger we have, and listen, this is why I'm doing it now, because at the moment with the volatility, there's always so much stuff going on, I feel myself being drawn to stuff that really doesn't tick all the boxes, and I need to be mindful of this, and maybe this applies to you as well, so this is a great time to be on this video. You know, you have a chart through, you're going through charts, and maybe even it's something that's got headlines, like crude oil, for example. Tom and filming this, headlines all over the place, indices in the headlines, various sectors in the stock market in the headlines. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to have an opinion of them, even though you know they're probably going to have an explosive move one way or the other and they're going to be volatile. It still doesn't mean you have to have an opinion on it. You have the best edge possible as a retail trader in that you can get involved when things line up for you. And so when you're reviewing charts, when you're reviewing different markets, when you're reviewing different time frames, however your process is for going through this analysis, it should be right. Does this stand out straight away as a long to me? Or is this ticking the criteria, should I say, for my longs, or about to tick my criteria for my longs? So in my example, it would be, okay, have we had an extended move and a flag, one of my preferred setups for the long side, breaking out with a catalyst, flag type environment, probe to lows, failed, rip back up. In a nutshell, that would catch my eye. I would like that kind of thing. But you know, if something was still strong but not quite ticking my boxes, I don't want to be saying, yes, I want to say, listen, you know what, they could go up or go down. And that's the correct analysis, because that's ultimately what could happen with any of the things we look at. It could go up, it could go down, it could go sideways. That's exactly what could happen. But the only time we take a trade is when we believe that the likelihood of it going in the direction of the trade is more than the likelihood of it not going in the direction of trade. That's all we're doing when we're placing our trade, guys. I'm not saying it definitely is. We just believe that the likelihood is higher and that the payoff is worth it, and that comes into risk-reward ratio. So if we default constantly or try to go back to, and accepting that it's okay to not know, you know, that's the right answer in the majority of the time is, I don't know, I'm not going to put risk capital on the line. I do not know, I don't know. Hey, it's looking really, really strong, but I don't know. Could reverse, could go back. don't know. Don't know. That should be the default response. And even though in most areas of life that sounds flaky, right? When someone says, and you just go, I don't know, it sounds like a flaky answer. We know this. We know that this is not something that we like to say. We like to have an opinion on something, or we like to talk about something and give our feelings on it, or some facts that we've got. But in trading, it's the other way around. It's okay to say, I don't know. In actual fact, when you look at some of the guys at the top of their game versus the guys who are just at the bottom of their game, so to speak, there's a difference. The guys at the bottom of their game have got an opinion on absolutely everything, from the small cap stock to the large cap stock to the currency pair to the spread trade to the seasonal trade to the call option to anything. There's always got an opinion on it. The guys at the top end of their game, the guys who've been in the game in a long period of time, made substantial amounts of money, have got the funds, got all this stuff. They're the ones that go, hey, I'm not interested in that. I don't have an opinion on where Euro USD is going. I don't know, I don't care. However, I do know mining sector, and that's why we're allocating capital to that. I do know distressed debt, whatever this, you get the idea. I have a specialism, and that's what I'm focused on. And so for you, that should be the same thing as I try to do for me. It's okay, got my specialism, my price action methodology, that's my specialism. I know it works well for me. So stick to it and wait until you get exactly the right setups that you want. And it's okay, even when it's such a spicy market, loads of stuff going on, for you to look at that chart and go, do you know what? I really don't know where that's going to go. Could go up, could go down. I'm not going to allocate any capital to it, because that's the right answer, guys. And if we can default to that rather than trying to have an opinion and believe that that's the expert way, because of course, we get the talking heads on finally, guys, very quickly. That's the talking heads job. Let them do that. They sit on Bloomberg, they sit on the financial news channels and go, yes, I think this is going to do this, and they talk with authority about it. But you know that they're not trading. We know this. We talked about this before. Whereas traders, we don't want to do that. We don't need to do that. You may have an opinion on it, you may be able to talk about it, but that's a lot different from allocating capital. Because just because you think oil is going to go back up over the next year doesn't mean that's a trade for you based on the way you trade. And so defaulting, final thing, guys, defaulting to I don't know is really okay, and it's the best thing that we can do as traders. Only when it really is special, it's ticking all the boxes and it's standing out as a long, it's ticking the criteria for a short, then do we look at it more closely. Do we find a trade idea? Do we find a way to express that trade idea, our stops, our targets, etc., etc. So if we default to I don't know, I think you may find that you end up taking far, far fewer trades that you wish you hadn't. Take care, guys. See you in the next one. If you like this kind of stuff, a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Don't forget to check out our channel sponsor. There's a link to them in the description below. I appreciate your comments and subscriptions as well, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.